level 1 melee and carapace. So I noticed that comsat was going down, and I decided to keep these hydralisks here and pull whatever hydralisks I had over here, because if a Terran comsats you, he's either A, got some Reapers coming in and he's trying to figure out where the best place to put him at, or he's going to do a drop. So I noticed that he has this drop over here because Omax has his little probe over there, and I start freaking out, and I'm telling Omax, get the F over here, warp in, do something, because he's going to drop on you right away. But for some reason he doesn't drop, he doesn't decide to drop, and he comes over to me. So I guess he has it out for me, as he figures that I'm probably the stronger player in this. And he catches me off guard, and I have to pull all my drones back. And I start pulling my hydralisk back over here to try and save this hatchery. He's pushing out on my hatchery, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to save it. And Omax is coming in, and he's going to try and save the hatchery. It's just barely hanging on. I run my queen over there to try and do a transfusion, but unfortunately the hatchery does go down. But I do get my hydralisk coming in over here, and we're able to really easily mop up King of Gods forces with all these hydralisks complemented with these stalkers. So wasn't that bad of a harassment. He did take out my hatchery, but I still had a bunch of units over here, so I wasn't really all that bad, and I was able to rebuild my hatchery right away. And all the while, Silverstar is not really doing anything, just sitting there, and got a couple Marines coming out over here with 2 siege tanks, and that's actually a pretty decent force for what we had when we were harassing him. So I just decided to go balls out and just start attacking it, even though these siege tanks are just destroying me. And I figured that Omax will come in there and blink in and do exactly what he did and just take out those siege tanks. So I've got a whole bunch of drones coming over here and just mining like crazy on these mineral fields here, as I had to pull all my drones back, and my queen was over here and she's just chilling out waiting for this hatchery to come over. And we decided to go ahead and push into Silverstar's base once again, as he did not rebuild this wall still. So we're just continuing to put on the harassment, put on the pressure to Silverstar. That's forcing King of Gods to try and keep up with us. And it looks like Silverstar is not really doing too much, as he knows that he doesn't have any forces, so he's just going to have to sit back and watch his base get destroyed. And while King of Gods has got an SCV, a Marauder, and a siege tank coming in, so he's not really has too much. And he's doing a drop, and looks like Omax did a pretty good force field placement, and King of Gods is just having his troops just sit here and not do anything for a little while. So he's got this pretty good placement by the siege tank. Silverstar is pretty much putting his siege tank on the back here. That way he could just mop up the rest of my hydralisk and pretty much mop up the rest of Omax's forces. So Silverstar is pretty much hanging in there by a thread, and my hatchery is back up. I've got all my drones coming in over here, and we'll see what King of Gods base looks like. So King of Gods is making a couple more barracks, got some more dropships coming in, making some more siege tanks. Got this one SCV just chilling out watching the fun, and he's got got some forces coming in over here. So income wise, Silverstar is pretty much out for the count, as he pulled up his command center, or his orbital command, to kind of save it. And me and Omax are doing pretty well. I've got 40 harvesters and Omax has 33, so we've got the economic advantage, and Omax is once again trying to expand over here, as they have pretty much thwarted his attempts to expand. So I've got my force coming over here. I'm just building up my forces, macroing up my forces, as I didn't want to go in and be unprepared, or just get a few hits and then be taken out rather easily if I hadn't gone in with minimal forces. So I've got these 2 hydralisks just kind of over here chilling out, kind of keeping watch, keeping guard, seeing what's going on. And I'm starting to move out with my bigger force. And I've just now noticed that I am not mining from this, or not gathering from this extractor, so I decided to actually go ahead and put my guys on this gas here, but I fail so hard in this game. I'm so rusty, as you can tell that I misclicked the extractor, and I thought that they were going in there, and they are just actually sitting there chilling, taking a break. So I'm not yet upgrading my level 2, and I think I upgrade my level 2 here in a second. But I decided to go ahead and get an infester, as I wanted to do some tricky infester stuff and use some of the new abilities. As with an infester now, and when you burrow as an infester, you can actually do the infested Terran while burrowed. So I try and sneak some infestors in there, go behind the mineral lines, and just pop out a few infested Terran and do a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, my guys are just kind of over here chilling, waiting for the command to go ahead and start doing some hard killing. And I decided I need to expand, as all my guys are over here, and it's just pretty much waiting for these minerals to go down, because there's only 3 nodes left. So I need to go ahead and expand, and Omax is going zealot crazy right now. And Silverstar's not really doing too much. It's got a few Marines and one siege tank, and it looks like King of Gods has a pretty sizable force over here with these dropships, with these medevacs. Got 3 tanks, bunch of Marines, and I don't know why they use Marines, because I did have Banelings earlier, so actually transitioned out of Marines and trying to go into a little bit more heavy, maybe a Marauder. Now go ahead and burrow these Banelings here, because if they wanted to kind of go through here, they would have to get through my Banelings. Now I've just made them little landmines there. So we've got a pretty good placement of the forces here, as if they come in here, they're going to try and probably go for this expansion, but Omax is going to be able to come from one side, and I'm going to be able to flank them from the other. And they're going straight through here, so that's really not a good place to be right now when they're on the offensive. So he goes ahead and scans, like, oh, well, there's nothing here, so I'm just going to go ahead and try and attack. And unfortunately, my drone gets taken out. But he goes ahead and he sieges up here, and he just doesn't know that all of these forces are coming in here. And Omax just starts to demolish them, and this is just a total fail on their part, and it's not even a challenge. My Banelings were able to take out all the Marines. Omax's Zealots were able to clean up the siege tanks, as were the rest of my Hydralisks. So we'll go ahead and use this opportunity to push out, as we are on the offensive right now, and they pretty much lost all of their forces. And let's look at APM here. So Omax is still hovering around 37 or so, but he's not one of those that spams APM. He's just one of them that does the useful APM. I just can't do that. So we're continuing to push in on Silverstar, as we know that Silverstar has been on the ropes pretty much the whole game, and we're deciding just to kind of put in the nail in the coffin over here, as there's no way that they're going to be able to take out this force that we have over here. And Silverstar just goes ahead and leaves the game, rage quits, and that's unfortunate. So King of Gods is now by himself. He's got a few Thors, actually 4 Thors coming out over here. So I'm assuming that he is thinking that these Thors are going to help him out. He's sadly mistaken, because we're just going to steamroll through these. Especially with these Zealots with the upgraded charge, you can't really get a good range on them or anything. So I went ahead and I cleaned up the rest of the forces over here with Silverstar, and I got some infestors coming in over here, and I was going to try and come over here and, do some infested Terran harassment, but I noticed that he had a whole bunch of Thors, so I take this real good opportunity, and he's going to push out, and I'm just going to pop up right behind his Thors and mind control all of them. So that is unfortunate, and here we go. Mind control, mind control, mind control. So I'm sure he's pretty frustrated with that, but I am laughing my ass off at this point. And Omax notices that, and he says, LOL, that's cool as hell. And it is cool as hell. I love that. And looks like we pretty much got it from here, and King of Gods goes ahead and leaves the game. So I hope you enjoyed this commentary. More to come.